I believe that whether you want to call it prayer, spell casting, manifesting, we are always manifesting consciously or unconsciously all the time, even when we're asleep. And we're also praying all the time. We pray with our thoughts. And so if I'm thinking about 60,000 thoughts a day and I'm realizing that every single thought is monitored in the Akashic record, the space where it's like the cosmic iCloud that is just storing every thought, word, and deed and action. And then once I started to really actually genuinely understand that, I stopped praying for that I didn't want, which means focusing my attention and intention onto the things that are like the worst case scenario. And it's a training of the brain. It does not happen overnight. But first and foremost, you've got to call yourself forward the way that you're speaking, because everything's subjective to whatever story you place on it. So for example, if somebody withdraws their love, and then all of a sudden there's this neutral space in the middle, well, what happens is we're going to project onto that neutral space all of our greatest fears. But that's actually not the truth of what's happening. And suffering happens, and this is Byron Katie's work. Suffering, I find that also suffering happens when there's 3 types of businesses. There's my business, your business, and God's business. And I suffer when I'm in anybody else's business besides my own. And so what I do is like to bring my energy back from why I think, why did Layla not text me back? Or why did this guy say this thing? Or why did this happen, right? I'm never going to know. But I will only suffer in the times when I'm trying to predict it, because I'm going to project my deepest insecurities as to why this is happening, because that must be a self-fulfilling prophecy of like my greatest fears to confirm that it's real. So once I would pulled back my energy from anybody else's business besides my business, then once I'm back in my business, it's now rewriting the stories of that which I'd like to create. And so when I'm in the shower, that's neutral space. That's in between time. That's the mundane moment that I was talking about before. But when you're in the mundane moment, what would it look like to sing? To sing about every little cell in my body is happy, every little cell in my body as well. What a great use of time. I'm talking to every 75 trillion cells in my body, telling my body that I am alive, I am well, I am happy. And my little cells have 2 jobs, to listen and respond. And they go, yes, we are. Da, 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 da. Okay, so there's that in between moment. Also, when I'm going through an unworthiness piece and I feel like absolute crap, what would it look like to treat myself like my 12-year-old daughter? I don't have one, but if I was to have a daughter and she came over to me, she goes, Mama, I'm hurting. I hurt my leg. I wouldn't be like, get it together, woman. Get out of here. You know, I would be like, come in. Let me hold you. Let me nourish you. Let me nurture you. What would it look like to actually do that to myself? That was never in the question before, because I was unconsciously being run by the unconscious prayers, spells, manifestation of an unconscious mind. So once you create the thoughts to be conscious from the back end, or like the rear view or the blind spot, and bring them into the conscious mind to start become aware of my thoughts, then realizing that my thoughts are actually my prayer, and I have an opportunity to pray for that which I want, because worrying is just like sitting on a rocking horse. It'll give me something to do, but it's going to take me absolutely nowhere. I'm not going to move forward. I'm just going to pray for that I don't want. And so once it becomes a conscious understanding that we are always manifesting consciously or unconsciously, why don't we start doing it in a conscious way and actually start to fill in the in-between moments, the mundane moments, with a prayer of gratitude? Because when you literally reflect on the things that you have in your life, even if that's a roof over your head and food in your fridge, that's more than most. And to really reflect on gratitude, a heart of gratitude will always have more things to be grateful for. And so what would it look like to actually utilize the in-between moments to say thank you? And in that thank you, a world can be born. And it starts an entire new path of living a life of gratitude. Even standing in TSA and there's a really long line and just feeling a little bit stressed, and we're like, and thank you for this too, because I even have the funds to be able to get on this flight in the first place. And so it just is, it doesn't become a belief. It doesn't become a way of life. It just is who you are. It becomes who you are. And I can tell you right now that I'm instantly repelled from somebody that's constantly negative. Well, if the universe doesn't actually give you what you want, it gives you who you are, and you're being negative, what do you expect to happen? The universe does not give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are in every given moment. If I'm singing the Happy Self song in my shower in the morning, well, who I am in that moment, having a good damn time. Good damn time.
Look, I saw it so up close and personal, and with someone who their negative prayers destroyed more beauty than I've ever seen. destroyed more goodness than I've ever seen.